Hello everyone and welcome to Long's Toys. I have another Transformers The Last Night review for you. This is Deluxe Class Autobot Drift. As far as I know, it's very similar to the Drift that came out as part of the last movie, Age of Extinction, but obviously Drift has a new color scheme here. He's primarily red with a little bit of black, at least in robot mode. Then the color scheme kind of completely changes. He's mostly black with a little bit of red in vehicle mode, so... not too much going on here for the packaging. You get a nice picture of Drift there. Master Swordsman. Not really anything going on top of the bottom. Well, there's a group shot there on the top. Taking a look in the back, you can see what I mean. Red and black, and then mostly black with a little bit of red. And then you also have Steel Bane and Squeaks. So there you go. That is the packaging. Let's go ahead and get him out, and we'll take a closer look. So here he is out of the packaging. He comes with these accessories here. You get 2 short swords, as you can see, and you get 2 longer swords. Now the funny thing is, this is a new mold. When I first looked at it, I thought it was the same as the Age of Extinction mold, but after I got out of the box and I looked at the transformation instructions and everything, it is different. It looks similar, and that's kind of funny because that's what made me think it was the same mold. In the Age of Extinction one, the chest plate actually rotated up and the head folded into the body. That's not going to happen here. And the toes, while they do look similar, actually folded down and became kind of the back of the car with the spoiler. And you can see that's here kind of on this back kibble section. But the legs look very similar. The arms are very similar. These shoulder armor pieces look very similar. The head sculpt even looks very similar. But it is a different mold. So I just think that's funny that it looks so similar that I thought it was the same toy, but it's definitely not. The color scheme for this looks great. I love the red and the black. I mean, red and black always look good together. You throw in a little bit of gold for the face, some silver on the chest to break it up. I think it's fantastic. With the Age of Extinction toy, he had kind of a dark blue with light blue accents. And while I do like those colors a lot, I just think the black and the gold and the red here just work so perfectly together that I actually prefer this color scheme to blue, which is something you very rarely hear me say because blue is my favorite color. But in this case, the red beats it. I definitely think so. You can see back here on his back that he has 2 little peg holes right here and here, and you can put swords there. So all these swords have these pegs on them, and you can put the long ones there if you like, and you'll see they stick out a little bit on the bottom. You can kind of see it right there. What it's meant to do, at least what the directions show, put the 2 little short swords back here. And you can leave them there all the time, even in transformation and in the vehicle mode, they can hide back there. So I think that's pretty cool. As far as holding the swords, I think he holds the big swords perfectly. They fit very snugly in his hand. They definitely aren't going anywhere. And the short swords, I think he holds fairly well, but you can definitely tell that they're a little bit looser. They don't fit as snugly as the long swords, so I kind of just leave them back here, equipped in the back. So pretty cool. He does have a bit of kibble here, and you'll notice when we get to the transformation, he's kind of a shell former, because this whole thing just kind of accordions out and becomes like the entire top section of the car, which you'll see when we get to that. But I still think it's not bad. Like, yes, it's a lot of car kibble that accordions in and shrinks in on itself, but it doesn't impede articulation really all that much. Speaking of which, the head is on a ball joint, so you have some up and down, you have some side to side. The shoulders, you got a lot of stuff going on. You have a pin kind of right here in the body, and you can see this piece rotates in and out there. That's mostly for the transformation. You also have a swivel where the black piece meets the shoulder, so there's a swivel there, and then there's a pin right there, and then this piece can move on its own. So if you hold the arm, you can move that around. So you can get a lot of poses. If you like the armor up a little bit, you can have it all the way straight down. It moves with the arm, however you like it. So that pin does control both of those. Then you have a bicep swivel right above the elbow, as well as 90 degrees in the elbow. It's a really nice ratchet. You can hear it. Very tight. Here, in the wrist, you have a little bit of movement. And I would think that's for the transformation, but the directions don't really show anything, so I don't know. It's just kind of a weird... It looks like he breaks his wrist. I don't know. It's weird. In the hip, you don't have anything in the waist, but in the hip you have out to the side as well as front and back. You have a thigh swivel right there, kind of where this red piece is connected is one solid piece. That's where the thigh swivel is. And then you have 90 degrees in the knee, and then a little bit of ankle, but that's really for the transformation. Same thing with these pieces on the side. The directions have you rock them all the way back, but if you like the look of putting them a little bit forward, you certainly can. That's really for the transformation, but the directions have you pop it all the way back. So I just think it's funny. I wish I had the Age of Extinction toy close by to compare them for you, but it's in storage, unfortunately. And just to put them next to each other to show you how similar they look while they still are different molds, which I think is really funny. So at first I thought it was the same mold and I almost didn't pick it up, but the color scheme was so great that I had to. And now that I've discovered it's a new mold, I'm really glad that I did pick it up because it's fun. I like it a lot. As far as the robot mode goes, the only thing I would have asked for is maybe a way to put the swords on the waist, like a traditional samurai would have his swords on his waist instead of his back. I understand with all this kibble on the back, it was probably a little difficult to do. Like you couldn't put it here, but maybe on the side of the thigh you could have put something. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe just like a shallow peg hole to put these pegs into. Would have been cool. Otherwise, I think it's a pretty good robot mode. Decent amount of articulation, great color scheme, head sculpt's fantastic. You have this car kibble on the back, but it's really not that bad. Speaking of which, let me get a little bit closer here so you guys can see the face sculpt. I think they did a great job. I mean, obviously you have the little Mercedes symbol here, a little bit of silver there to break up the red, but the gold looks really nice. Really nice detail. I love the way the head looks like a samurai helmet, and this is like the mask of the samurai helmet. Just overall, really nice job with that. I think they did a great job on the head sculpt. So I like the robot mode a lot. I think it looks really good. I love the color scheme. And articulation's pretty good. Not really a problem with that back kibble. So let's go ahead and move into the transformation. Transformation for Drift is pretty darn simple. I've gone ahead and removed the two long swords, but the two shorter swords are still here in the back. So make sure they're still plugged in. I mean, you don't have to. You can put them off to the side, but you can store them there during the transformation, so that's what I'm going to do. You're going to start by taking this piece and rocking it like down like this. You can see there's a pin there and a pin there. So you pull that section down. You're going to spin it. This whole top piece here rotates around and then kind of fits flush with the other piece. And you can see that's pretty much the whole roof of the car. You're going to rotate this section down just like that. And then just kind of put it all, like move the arms out of the way. And this is going to just sit on top like this. Come down here and fold this piece down. And you can see this is pretty much the entire car. You got the hood, you got the windshield, back window, spoiler. So you got the whole, pretty much whole part of the car right there. At this point, you're going to straighten out the arms, and they're going to kind of fold back behind the legs, just as close to the body as you can get. Now, this is kind of where I expected the wrists to kind of like fold in or something. But again, the directions don't really show it, and you don't really need to do it. You just push them as close to the body as you can get. Then you're going to come down here, and you're going to fold the feet up like this. And then you're going to want to bring these down so that this all kind of forms the front of the car, as you can see. And then you're going to peg these together, and they'll snap very simply like that. And then you're going to bring this down and situate it so that you can see where, you know, this needs to fit in. And to get it to really go, you can kind of bend the knees a little bit like that. And you can just kind of futz with it until you get it all snapped in. There we go. So you can pretty much see, I already have the whole car. So like I said, the reason I say it's a bit of a shell former is because the whole top of the car just hangs on his back, accordioned in. And then, you know, this part becomes the front, and then you're pretty much done. Then these pieces for the samurai armor just like fold forward to become the doors of the car. And then you really, again, you just kind of futz with this, you know, bring it in so that these kind of snap together, snap into place. This snaps in here. And then you really just kind of make sure everything lines up and fiddle with it until it does. Now, I have a little bit of trouble here with the roof on mine, and I'm sure I'm just mistransforming it a smidge. But for the most part, there is drift just lying down. And the head crest does kind of have a little notch. You can see here, there's a tiny little notch just for that to kind of rest in. So his head just hangs out under there. So that's pretty much it. That's your vehicle mode. Now you can store the swords. You can see these two pegs on the bottom of what were his feet. And you just go ahead and peg those in. And they store nicely underneath. And I really do like the color scheme for this. I think the black with just the red on the bottom and then the hubcaps is really sharp. Again, in the front you have the silver for the Mercedes logo, and then you have the two headlights. And you have just a simple silver Autobot symbol on the top. I think that looks good. Again, my swords are a little bent, so you can kind of see them facing, you know, more down than they should. But over time, hopefully they'll straighten themselves out. So I really like this vehicle mode. Like I said, it's a simple color scheme, but I think it's sharp. It looks good. Just black with some red accents. I think it really works. So yes, it is very similar to the mold that came out for Age of Extinction, but it is different enough, and especially with the color scheme, I think it's worth picking up. I really, really think the red, black, and gold work perfect together. I mean, those colors really always do look good together, but I think they look good for drift. I really do. I love the black car with the red accents. I think the red works for the robot mode as well, because you have that little bit of silver and gold to kind of break it up and make it pop. I like the accessories he comes with. Articulation's good. Like I said, only things I could think to nitpick. He does have a lot of car kibble on his back, but it doesn't really get in the way, and I would have loved a way to mount the swords on the side of the thigh or something just to give it a more traditional samurai look. It's really my only complaints. Otherwise, it's a pretty fun toy. Yes, it's kind of a shell former, but it makes for an easy transformation back and forth, and I still think it looks good. Sometimes shell formers can work. Yeah, between the transformation, color scheme, articulation, I think it's a fun figure. I definitely think it's worth picking up. Even if you got the one from Age of Extinction, I think this is different enough. It is similar, but I think it's different enough to warrant a pickup. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'd like to hear from you. Please like and share this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you guys have enjoyed this look at Drift from the Transformers The Last Night line. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching.